This video is brought to you by Practical Music Theory for the Rock Guitarist, my new book, which is a comprehensive guide to all aspects of music theory necessary for playing rock guitar. From blues to the cycle of fifths, from understanding and using modes to choosing the right notes for a melodic solo, from pentatonic scales to chord construction and keys. It's all covered in a clear and concise manner. With accompanying video demonstrations, jam tracks and tabs, you'll learn to use the knowledge you gain in accessible ways that make sense for less than the cost of a few guitar lessons. Check out the link in the description for more details. Hello chaps, welcome once again to John Robson Guitar Tuition. As always, I do hope you're well. That, I imagine, for people of a certain vintage, was possibly the second ever Mark Knopfler guitar solo that they encountered. Basically, I think that the pattern usually goes something like this. You hear a new band on the radio, they've got a big hit single out, you really like it, so possibly you buy the single, but maybe you go out and buy the album. And if that hit single was Sultans of Swing, that will have been the first Mark Knopfler guitar solo that you heard. The second one was probably off from the first track on this, Dire Straits' first album, just called Dire Straits. The song was called Down to the Waterline, and that was my rendition of the solo from it. Really love that song. It's one of my favourite Dire Straits songs, actually. It's, you know, there's lots of kind of references to Newcastle upon Tyne, you know, Sweet Surrender on the key side, and, you know, he mentions the Dogleap stairway between the bridge and the building. You see it there later on in the song, and he was always very good at that, Knopfler, kind of getting kind of local, you know, kind of localities and place names into his songs. Did it in Tunnel of Love as well with, you know, Colour Coats and Whitley Bay. And I always wondered how many people of a, shall we say, an international audience would have a clue what he was talking about. But I just think it adds authenticity and, you know, a sense of reality to his songs. But anyway, I'm going off point there. You've heard the solo. Let's take a little bit of a look at what's going on in the solo.
Solo explanation.
Okay, beginning as always by taking a look at the chord sequence the solo is played over. It goes like this. So there's quite a bit going on there. I think there are 4 different key centres involved in the chord sequence for that solo. So let's break it down in terms of each of those. Starting with the first line here, those chords there, G, B minor and A essentially there. Now to my ear that seems to kind of want to resolve. It doesn't go there, but it seems to want to go to a B minor chord. And the fact that it doesn't go there and changes key at the end of that line is kind of one of the things that makes it interesting. But that whole section there, all of those chords are from the key of B minor. So he plays just some B minor licks over the top of it. And pretty much all of those notes, with the exception of this G note here, which there's a G chord in the chord sequence, so that's why we can play that. But all of those notes are just, you know, kind of straight out of a little kind of pentatonic thing, or you could say, you know, kind of approaching the B natural minor scale. So after that section, we come to, as I said, it changes key as we go into the second line. Just for 2 bars, it goes to the key of E major with the E and C sharp minor chords, the 1 chord and its relative minor, the 6th chord. And what he does there is, again, just thinking pentatonically. You can kind of visualise what he's playing there in the context of this pattern here. He does add in another note there, the A note for this little lick. That's it. That's your whole E major section right there. Just with... And this G sharp note that he finishes on, he then moves that down a semitone to become a G. Why? Because we've got the C major section coming next, and there is a G note in the scale of C major. You could argue that these 2 chords, C and G, are in the key of G major, but the scale that gets played over the top, as we will see, is the scale of C major. So what does he do when he hits this G note here? He plays just a little sort of C major pentatonic thing, just pure pentatonic, coming out with that shape there. Just kind of noodling around in the top half of that C major pentatonic pattern. He then goes up to a more C major scale kind of thing up here at the 12th fret. Like that. And what's going on there is, well, just... basically C major scale, C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C, D, E, F, G, and all of the notes in that little section there come from that scale, you know. And then we come into this like descending bit where the pace of the solo starts to pick up again. Little passing note in there, an A sharp, nice little note choice there. This takes us to the final section of the solo, which is in the key of sort of D major or its relative minor, B minor. The D, the A and the G chord and the B minor chord that it finishes on, you can say are all in the key of D, but that F sharp chord is acting like kind of a 5 chord to a B minor. So I'm going to call this out and say it's in sort of a D major, B minor kind of tonality. And we start with this really kind of cool little arpeggio bass lick where we've got a couple of open strings and stuff going on. Something like that, I think. Like that. Now the next part you could play here. It's accessible here, but it just that's the way I first tabbed it out. But it just seems more kind of inviting to play it up here. So after the up to here, like, and then a couple of open strings in there, which are very faint. But all of that is just coming straight out of a D major scale. Then we hit that F sharp chord, where for the rest of the solo pretty much he's just thinking around chord shapes. So we play, there's an F sharp chord there, and he's just playing. Or you can think of it as an F sharp major pentatonic. F sharp is, as I say, the 5 chord in the key of B minor. Well, one of the keys of B minor, like the B harmonic minor. So he's just playing licks or a set of licks which are centered around that F sharp major chord. Mainly, I tend to view it in terms of that just coming out with that little triad there, and then getting that note from this bend here. And then we hit the G chord, pretty much the same thing, he just moves it up a semitone. Like that, just outlining a G major arpeggio, not even a scale going on there, just an arpeggio. And then the final run, just descending E, D, C sharp, B, A, and back to B again, just notes straight out of, let's have another look, the B minor or D major scale. And there you have it. That's what's going on in this solo. You know, quite a tuneful little solo. I think the key changes are well chosen, and they keep you interested. And like, especially when it goes from the G chord to the A chord, down into the E to the C sharp minor, and then to the C. Like that. That's just pure magic, I think. And it's a great exercise if you learn this solo in playing to chord changes, because you have to. Basically, you can't just bluff your way through by staying on a single scale, because if you start playing, you know, a B minor scale over, for instance, well, you'd possibly get away with it if you were careful with your note choices. But you know, it's better to think in terms of the chords, and that is obviously what he's doing. So now you know what to do. Go away and have some fun with it. And as always, you'll find a full tab for the solo in both Guitar Pro and PDF formats, along with a clip of me playing it, that explanation you've just seen there, and a backing track to play along with yourself. All of that is, as usual, up on my Patreon page. There's the address, link in the description. $3 or £3 a month gets you access to all of these additional resources and goodies that go along with these YouTube videos. And of course, a massive thank you to everyone who supports me in that or any of the other ways downstairs in the description. And that's pretty much it for today, folks. Hope you enjoyed the video and found it entertaining, useful and informative. And if that's the case, please hit the subscribe button and the notification bell. In case you haven't already done so, why not drop me a like as well while you're at it. Don't forget the live stream every Friday, 5 PM UK time, where we drink beer and talk about stuff, music and guitars and whatever else crops up. It's a great way to kick off the weekend, and I'd love to see you there if you can make it. But for now, I'll bid you all a good day and say thank you so much for watching. Thank you for your time. Look after yourselves, folks. Stay well, stay safe, and above all, stay sane. Bye for now.